crashed out of this race in Texas last year. Let's see how he does this time. And is it the 136 with a whole shot? You bet. Our one to watch is the leader, Jessy Nelson. That's your welcome to the pros moment right there. He's going to feel the pressure from some of the best 250 riders in the game. How about Phil Nicoletti in the 715 to the inside and takes the lead. Wow. Nicoletti on the 1110 mods Privateer Honda. There's Marvin Musquin up into second on the Red Bull KTM.
Well, Musquin has now made it further than he did last year there when he had that crash at Barcia, but made the pass, and Jessy Nelson comes right back into second place.
Yeah. Kid showing he's not afraid of the veterans. You've got guys like Musquin who have won championships, world titles over in Europe before. Also, Roczen is the teammate on the number 70. He's Musquin's teammate. He is right there in fourth and trying to go around Musquin and Nelson now. To the inside. It's KTM boys side by side here.
Synchronicity, you like that there. So Jessy Nelson right now, heart rate just getting jacked up straight away. No time to rest and settle into the pace. You get this whole shot, you're running up front with the big boys. And this outside line has been working for everyone, and it will,
we saw a couple passes in the 450s there. Not this time. Nelson able to hold off Roczen and Musquin, and then it's the 17 of Eli Tomac. And how about your leader? Filthy Phil Nicoletti out of New York is leading them around. Full privateer on the 715. Oh boy, Nelson's under heavy fire from Roczen right now. 1110 mods building this machine for Nicoletti, and they had some great rides last year at Darren Durham at the controls, and also a couple other riders that are out there. We'll get to that in a moment. His teammate, the number 30, is also out there. That team has really made some inroads. However, right now, it is Nicoletti on the 715. Wait a minute, he's under pressure. Nelson wants to lead back.
Yeah, Nicoletti, he was your 20th fastest qualifier today, and Nelson 11th fastest. Just tells you what the start can get, because lap times are one thing, you know, but when you're out here battling for the checkered flag, and that's Nelson taking the lead.
Oh, he gets it back from Nicoletti. So we're right back where we were one lap ago. Nelson leading him through this section. Nicoletti going to try to get him back.
Look at this kid ride. He's amazing.
Unbelievable what he's done. Roczen just sitting back there and watching right now as Nicoletti and Nelson go at it. The rider I was trying to mention earlier, Alex Martin, the number 30, he's kind of considered the lead rider of the 11-10 team. Oh, Nicoletti's now got pressure from Roczen.
Wow.
Roczen goes by to the number 2 spot.
Just slides right around the outside. It's like Nicoletti thought he had the inside line kind of closed off, and Roczen just held the gas on a short little straight and made the move.
Making moves also, 17 Eli Tomac. He has gotten around Musquin, and he now is going to focus on Nicoletti as Roczen focuses on Nelson.
Remember, Eli Tomac was your fastest qualifier today. Roczen came in 4th in qualifying, so 2 of the fastest riders right out front there.
Baggett, your winner last week, was 12th at the end of lap 1. There goes Tomac, getting around the outside and makes the move for 3rd on Nicoletti.
Tomac has a little problem there in the berm, and Nicoletti almost gets into the back of him. I'm equally impressed with the start here for Nelson and Nicoletti. It's really important for these guys to learn this pace and be able to run up front like this. Pretty awesome rides. Let's see how they handle it, and when we get to the checkered flag, let's see how these guys come across.
Yeah, this 11-10 mods team that Nicoletti rides on, they stuff the bikes in the back of a box van. That is old school. They don't have one of the big tractor trailers. There's the number 30, his teammate. So they've got 2 riders up in the top 10 right now. We have found the 12 of Baggett trying to make up for a bad start. Got the 166 of Dakota Tedder right in front of him. A couple of California kids here duking it out for 9th and 10th.
Yeah, Tedder 21st fastest here today. And right now, oh, there he goes, right around the outside. Oh, Tedder makes it, somebody's down.
That was Jason Anderson, who is right in front of them. Not sure what happened to Anderson there, just goes end over end on the Rockstar Suzuki.
Oh, and that's gonna be frustrating. Anderson was your 3rd fastest qualifier here today, the best qualifying effort that he's put in. A lot of expectations for him. We hope he's all right.
3-rider duel here for the number 1 spot. The 136 of Nelson still leads, but Roczen has been caught by Tomac. Tomac on a charge here at Freestone, and he wants to go past Roczen and then put the pressure on the kid. How about the rookie still leading this thing?
Yeah, this is a real telltale sign of what sort of speed, you know, conditioning and things like that will come with time and experience, but if you have the speed to run up front, then, you know, the raw natural speed, then more than likely you can train yourself into being able to do it each and every week. And remember, Tomac, first pro race, he was one of those rookies that came out, set the world on fire. Technically, last week was Roczen's rookie ride here.
In the United States, yeah.
Yeah, in the U.S. So, Tomac.
Tomac spent 3 or 4 corners setting that one up, but he finally makes the move on Roczen. So Tomac continuing his strong riding. As you mentioned, Jeff, fastest rider in qualifying today. And he carries that speed into the motos. It's now his turn to challenge Jessy Nelson. Yeah, unbelievable what Nelson is doing right now. And leading the race, rookie, that's impressive. But we also want to mention, this kid had a big crash a couple of years ago as an amateur. Actually lost his thumb, and he's able to ride basically with just a hand on the bars, losing the lead there to Tomac. Tomac is on a mission right now. Yes. But really impressive what Nelson's been able to do, continuing this pace through the amateur ranks and into the pros.
Yeah, so Jessy has no thumb in his left hand. He uses a prosthetic, and I can't even imagine what that's like. But you can see he definitely has plenty of strength and able to hold on. He's all over the place right now, working that Honda.
Well, as you said, he's learning the pace up front there. Tomac is not waiting around, not messing around. He has gone from 5th to first in a matter of just about 2 laps. Nelson 2nd, Roczen 3rd, Musquin 4th, and Nicoletti still holding strong in the number 5 spot. So a couple of surprises up front early. Good ride for the rookie and a good ride for the privateer mixed in with some of the traditional favorites. That's what we like about the 250 class. You never know what's going to happen. All right, battle continues right now. It looks like Nelson is settled in to this number 2 spot. Not holding up Roczen or Musquin at all, Jeff. He's running his own pace.
Yeah, Nelson's last lap around was a 2:08. Now Tomac, he really dropped it down to a 2:05 last lap around. Roczen 2:07, Musquin out of France, he's a 2:06. So kind of all over the board. I got a feeling that the 2 KTM riders are going to really put the pressure on Nelson, though, here in the next couple laps and step it up. But, man, I've been surprised before by rookies, and so far, so good here for the 136. This Lucas Oil Honda rider rides for this Troy Lee team.
Yeah, very impressive what he's been able to do. I think we've got the answer. What was welcome to the pros moment now. It's going to be this first moto at Freestone. The thing is, though, Roczen's only 18 years old in his own right. He seems like he's been around a while because he won a couple of world titles in Europe and has raced Supercross here in the United States the last 2 seasons. But like you said, that was his first ever American motocross ride last week. Here he is in his 2nd one, going after and now taking over the spot from Nelson.
Pretty good line through there, and it seemed like Ken was really patient. Even as he was making the pass, it didn't look like, you know, that he was worried about it. He felt very confident, or looked very confident in what he was doing. Now let's see if he can drop the hammer here on the KTM and pick up Tomac.
Hi, I'm Ricky. Hey, I'm Joel. And I'm Greg. We fly the KC-135, and we are currently deployed in the Middle East in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. I just want to say hello to everybody at the Lucas Oil Pro Motocross, and especially the Geico Honda team and my brother Eli Tomac. We all wish you a happy Memorial Day.
Now that is awesome. That's Eli Tomac's brother sending in the Memorial Day wishes over, and certainly we show great respect for all the troops and what they've done to keep our nation free as it is, and that's awesome that the Tomacs have that story to share. You know, we know their dad, John, done some gnarly stuff on a mountain bike. Obviously, Eli does some gnarly stuff here on the dirt bike, but that all pales in comparison to what brother Greg does.
Yeah, but it's really cool what the championship has going here. They offer active duty veterans and all that. You can go to VetTix, VETTIX.org,
yeah,
and you can send an application, I guess, and you can get free tickets to the Motocross Championship this summer. Pretty cool deal.
Kelly was able to talk to the Tomac family about this a little bit earlier. Kelly, what's happening down there?
Yeah, I met Eli Tomac's mom, Kathy, and I asked her sort of, what is it like? You've got one son serving overseas and one son here. She said, oh man, it gives me some gray hairs. I'm in the beauty salon every 6 weeks with one son flying through the air on a bike. The other, he is a First Lieutenant Greg Oswald, her other son. He is a KC-135 pilot, and they refuel the other jet. So he's serving over there. It's his first tour in the Middle East. Refueling some of the jets, great service for him, but you can imagine the parents' concerns with 2 extreme sons doing their jobs.
Wow. I can't believe, I mean, Jeff, you've seen Kathy at plenty of these motocross races. Wears a hole in the ground, pacing back and forth. She gets so nervous with the races.
Yeah, but I'm impressed. You know, you got Greg, flying the refueling thing. You got Eli riding here, and it's both sons are in their job are required to hold their composure and to be steady and to be focused. So pretty incredible. But they do have a little bit of athletic lineage.
Well,
Father John, he's pretty good in his own right.
Yeah, one of the greatest of all time on a mountain bike. By the way, these lap times, Tomac running 2:04. That is matching what Stewart and Dungey were putting up on the 450s a little bit earlier. A lot of time the track just gets rougher and slower throughout the day. I don't know if that's the case this time around. That's often the case. But Tomac's obviously on the gas.
Yeah, and another rider that's on the gas is behind Ken Roxon right here. You got Baggett, who's in 5th. He turned it to 2:05, so he's starting to pick it up like he does. But so far, so good here for Ken Roxon, holding his composure and riding a pretty strong race.
And his teammate, Roxon's teammate on the Red Bull KTM, Marvin Muscan, coming through next. And he's struggling with a hand injury. Had surgery just about 3 weeks ago now to repair previous injury on that hand. Got hurt at this race last year, had surgery, re-aggravated that injury a couple of weeks ago, had it fixed. Basically got a fresh plate and screws in that hand, hanging on tight. Here is Baggett now up to the number 4 spot. He's gotten around Jesse Nelson. So the number 12 is starting to stir here, and the KTM riders might be the next on his list.
Tell you what, we're top of the screen there, 23 minutes plus 2 laps to go. About time Blake Baggett seems to turn it up. And earlier today in qualifying practice, he looked so steady, just looked so strong. Oh, he's jumping into the 12-pack. We haven't seen that since qualifying practice. Wow, that is unbelievable right there. You sky that thing. I about fell out of my chair right now. I wasn't expecting it.
Unbelievable. Jeff, you're going to show us exactly how that was. We saw riders do it in practice, but no one jumped it in that first 450 moto. He used it to extend the lead just a little bit further over Nelson on that Lucas Oil Troy Lee Honda. Take us through this.
Watch right here. Up above the Lucas Oil. You're going to go from here up to about here. That's about 30 feet. Unbelievable. Maybe even higher. I don't have my tape measure with me, but it was impressive nonetheless. And early in qualifying practice, all the fans are huddled around there to see who's going to jump in there. Pretty cool.
And not much of a landing either. You're landing on a whoop, which you cannot see.
That's the trick, is to time the downside of the whoops, because you don't want to go that high, but you carry your momentum. And if you can downside that whoop, you get into a different rhythm. Through the 12-pack, you stay out of the deep ruts. They become shallower, and the whole point is to carry more momentum. Last lap around, Tomac was a 2:04. Baggett, with that spectacular jump, was still a 2:05. And Baggett is 12.6 seconds off of the lead.
Go a little bit further back. Still riding well here is Phil Nicoletti in the 1110 Mods Honda. Finally, we get our first look today at the number 20 of Justin Barcia. He had both hole shots last week on his Geico Honda. This time, got to do a little damage control. Not such a good start. He is up to the number 7 spot.
Yeah, definitely not the way that Barcia wanted to start today. He's digging himself out of a deep hole right here. But see, he's in 7th, running through some riders that typically should be faster than. Still turning to 2:06, because in front of him's a 2:08 Nicoletti, and behind him Blake Wharton's a 2:08. And actually Dakota Tedder running inside the top 10 and 9th at a 2:11. So you see it drops off quite a bit after that.
And right behind Barcia, we got one of the Texas kids. There it is, Blake Wharton in the Rockstar Suzuki. Born and raised in Pilot Point, Texas. Actually spent a lot of the time this year doing his testing and training in California, but he's back here trying to get acclimated to the heat and humidity that'll be here today and a lot of the other tracks on the East Coast throughout this championship.
Pretty strong ride right here. You see, I mean, the track right now obviously looks a lot better than what it did earlier in the show when we had the start of the 450 race. See, it's dried up quite a bit. And earlier today, qualifying practice, it looked so great, and I was kind of worried about, you know what, the wind, the heat here was going to dry the track out, and just it's drying it out pretty quickly. So as the day goes on, unless they get the proper amount of water down, it could be a little dusty in spots.
Next up behind Wharton, who is in 8th. We're looking for the rest of the riders inside the top 10. Kyle Peters, rookie season for him as well on the Star Valley Rockstar Yamaha. Great run for him, solid top 10 in what is a very, very deep field. Peters on the 96. You actually earn numbers based on how many points you scored last year. He only raced one race at the end of last season. That's where he got that 96, just got into the top 100. How about this kid? Dakota Tedder still in the top 10, had a good start and making it last.
Yeah, definitely. This is one of the strongest rides I've ever seen. Of course, the Tedder family, everyone in the family rides, including the fathers, but right now he's holding off the spot here. You got Jake Canada out of Southern California putting on a strong ride here also on that Moto Concepts.
And then number 30, Alex Martin right there. There is the 57 making the move. Canada, who has really been one of the most consistent riders, not only throughout Supercross, but solid in both motos last week at Hangtown. That's going to put him into the top 10. Then Tedder now under pressure from AMA Martin out of Minnesota. He's the teammate of Nicoletti. So the 11-10 team doing some damage again. They are the giant killers of this sport. And they got both of their riders trying for a top 10 in this moto.
Still so much time left. I mean, you can see right there, we've got 19 minutes.
Yeah, that clock
plus
break, it
laps.
seems like so much happened early in this race, and it all happened in about 7 or 8 minutes.
Yeah, it seemed, I mean, I'm waiting for the 2-lap board to come out, and we're
just getting started. Well, that's, I guess, what some of these rookies are going to have to learn, too. These are long races. Next battle here, you see the 19 of Kyle Cunningham. He's putting the heat on the 404 of Freeberg. Freeberg, another rider fairly fresh out of the amateur ranks. They keep bringing them up.
That's it. We've got a great program that does that. And just look at the line behind Cunningham. He's got his teammate, Gareth Swanepoel, South African rider that's up here. And then Hot Sauce, Ivan Tedesco, filling in on the pro circuit. Kawasaki. Doesn't look like he got the start he wanted. And running back in 16.
Cunningham, another kid out of Texas, but he had not a crash last week, but still actually twisted his ankle, but stayed on the bike. So he's trying to fight his way through that injury right now. Cunningham was very consistent last year. He'd always struggled a bit with that, but really fixed it. Was solid in almost every moto last year. He's trying to do that again here. See the GoPro camera there at the top of his helmet there. That thing's getting a good view battling with the 404 of Freeberg.
Such great footage when you go on their website each week and check it out. I love it.
How about our one to watch here in the Lucas Oil, Troy Lee Honda, the 136. Another spot lost for Nelson, but really you got to say he is performing over par here for just his second pro race. And again, got the call up early, so it looks like Barsha has pushed him back to 6th. That's still a great ride for Nelson. As for Baggett, he has caught up to Roxon. He's gotten around Muscan, now going after Roxon for 2nd. And we are still not even to the halfway point of the moto, and usually the halfway point is where we start seeing the real speed that Baggett has.
Oh,
whoa!
Look at that. Oh,
wow.
Overjumped it a little bit that time.
That's got to hurt. I know these bikes have great suspension nowadays, Jeff, but that's a hard landing if you miss the mark.
Yeah, and you know it too. If you've gone too far and you know that up face is coming and at the angle that you come down. But look at that. It did not deter him one bit. Look, he's still got the pressure on Roxon, a couple of turns later. So Baggett carrying a lot of momentum right now, a lot of speed getting into some lap riders here. See if this plays a role in whether or not Roxon can hold on to 2nd place in this moto.
Big left-hand corner. Sorry about that, Jeff. Big left-hand corner coming up. Roxon wisely gets to the inside and protects with Baggett all over him. And once again, Baggett doing the damage. Didn't have the great start. Didn't see him up front early, but now beginning to stir.
That was the 862 Barbary. Ozzy Barbary getting lapped.
And a big outside line there by Baggett, and that's one of his specialties. He will just ride where you aren't and make those lines work. That's why he's able to do so much damage even when he doesn't get a good start. But he says last year he tried that. He actually had a good start in the first moto here, and he tried using some different lines and putting the hammer down early. Didn't really know exactly the way the track was, where the good spots were and the bad spots were. He hit one of the big holes and took a big tumble. Today, he's trying to have a little more measured approach.
The problem that he has in this moto, if he's thinking about the win, is that Tomac is matching him lap for lap.
There he goes. Just dances down the inside. Roczen gonna try to tuck it back underneath. A nice scrub from Roczen, throws the bike sideways, keeps it low. Still doesn't matter. Baggett has secured the #2 spot.
That was interesting. It doesn't look like Roczen was putting up much of a fight right there. A little body language just said he was a little relaxed and almost gave up the spot. Really didn't fight to keep the inside. Maybe, you know, a strategic move here. He wants to take a look at what Baggett's doing, take a look at his lines, and see if he can drop his lap time down.
Well, again, that is a specialty of Baggett. He takes different lines. Well, he knows that's one of the lines you're going to have to take if you want to keep up that big jump into the Texas 12-pack. Not easy to duplicate this kind of ride that Baggett is putting on right now. Eli Tomac dominating this first 250 moto here live on Fuel TV. Started about 5th, made a bunch of passes early, and has really ran away and hid from the rest of these riders. See the clock at the top of the screen. It's a 30 minutes plus 2 lap race. So the countdown will bring us to 0 on 30 minutes, and then we'll have 2 laps to go.
Taking a look at the lap times here with Eli Tomac, he's been running a pretty consistent 2:05 all the way through this. Now, Blake Baggett, who won both motos 1 week ago, he has came through the pack, passed basically everybody that he needed to, and he's turning about a 2:05 also. He's 13.2 seconds around last time across the finish. But now he has a clearer track to deal with just like Eli, so I'm going to be real interested to see if Tomac can drop his lap time lower than a 2:05 and put a dent in that 13-second lead that Tomac has.
Well, this is, again, Baggett's specialty, this second half of the race, and he's put himself in position to put on another charge and go for another moto win. He has pulled away a bit from Roczen. We thought the kid here from Germany would maybe be able to hook on with Baggett, learn some of the lines, but Baggett just a little bit too strong right now. Still very consistent is Roczen at the beginning of this championship tour, and that might be the key later on. How about this ride? The #20, Barcia, up to 4th.
Pretty intense ride that he's put on. He's had to come from way back in the pack. Right now he's 30 seconds off of the lead, so he lost about 3 seconds that last lap around, but he is trying to work through some lap traffic and some other riders. Main thing you want to focus on is the effort right now. Is he hammering all the way to the finish? Because, you know, the competition in this 250 class is such that there's about these top 4 or 5 riders, Musquin, Barcia, Roczen, Baggett, Tomac. You know, it's like rolling the dice here to see who's going to finish out front. And I got to think that it's a major motivator for the Geico Honda teams of Tomac and Barcia, because Baggett handed it to him last week, right? So now here's their time to retaliate, get some finishes back, get some wins.
Here is Musquin, and as we mentioned at the very beginning of this race, he and Barcia actually collided on the very first lap at this race last year. And Musquin came out on the short end of that stick, actually broke his hand and his thumb, and missed the majority of the season trying to recover from those injuries. And then just a few weeks ago, re-aggravated that injury from a year ago. So impressive what he's been able to do with that injury on these rough tracks.
Oh, off the track right there. Got into some of those yellow track markers.
How about Jesse Nelson still making it happen here in 6th?
Pull him tear off right there. He's got a little bit of pressure going on. Looks like Blake Wharton starting to close the gap a little bit. Last time around, Blake was about 1.5 seconds quicker than him. So still pretty strong ride here for Nelson, a 6th. Yeah, that's solid. This track isn't getting any easier right now. You see bike just bouncing around under him there.
Yeah, you're starting to see a bit of that yellow bike of Wharton in the picture, getting closer and closer. Wharton, by the way, missed the entire season last year in motocross. Had surgery on both shoulders He told me after the race last weekend, just trying to get back into the swing of things. Hopes to feel stronger week in and week out. Definitely feeling strong right now as he goes after Nelson. And remember, Nelson, he thought he'd be riding amateur all summer long. Just about a week before our race last week at Hangtown, they said we need somebody to ride in place of Cole Seeley, who's out with some injuries, and they called him up. I mean, it's hard enough when you know it's coming to prepare for this level. He's just thrown into the deep end and doing a great job.
Yeah, they called up the righty, and he's going to join his teammate here, Travis Baker. He's currently running 20th right now, but you know, accelerate. Feet off the pegs right there. Gets into that muddy berm, holds his composure. Kind of thrown to the wolves a little bit. You know, you want to finish it off and have some time, but man, this is life, right? You take the opportunities when they come your way.
Yeah, and it's a good one. Certainly that Lucas Oil Troy Lee team is a great one to be on. So if they give you the call up, you go for it. Right now, Wharton trying to show what the Rockstar Suzuki can do. Going down to the inside.
He's got it. He took the short line on the inside. You got to just had a sense there. You see the body language of Nelson. Head's kind of bobbing a little bit. Right there, taking a look over his shoulder to the left. Right now is about the length of what long amateur motos are. Right. So now he's starting to get in, you know, past where he has experience. Now, of course, you can practice and all this stuff and test as much as you want, but there's nothing like race condition when it comes to the physical conditioning and learning what it's going to take. Plus, pretty hot day here, you know, 90 degrees.
Here comes Canada. Not from Canada, from California on the Moto Concepts machine. And Nicoletti was in front of Canada not that long ago, but he went down. Oh, no, wait, didn't go down. Trouble, I guess, for the motorcycle.
Well, it's still rolling. That leads me to believe that there was some sort of problem with the engine there on that 1110 Mod Honda. I tell you what, the last couple of years, they have really built a lot of horsepower into those bikes. It's a smaller company than, you know, let's say, you know, Pro Circuit and some of these other teams that are out there. But that's frustrating. Get a good ride like that in and have the machine go down. But sometimes it's the rider. Sometimes it's the machine.
Yeah. Obviously, this time, Nicoletti, you could see the body language there. He felt he still had it in him to get that thing to a strong finish. Unfortunately, the bike did this time, so he shifted a little bit further back, watching 96 of Peters putting the pressure on Canada.
I can tell you what, if I was completely honest, I probably failed more times than my machines did. But the team doesn't come back and start, you know, beating you up and throwing you around, right? Sometimes this happens in a motorsport, especially with these 250Fs. These guys, these engine builders are squeezing every ounce of horsepower out of them, and sometimes you just push that engine to the limits.
Ivan Tedesco had a great ride last week, finished 4th overall. Today, a little bit bad start for the veteran, who was the champion of this class in 2005.
That's right, 2005.
You go back, and most of the guys that he's racing against right now were in elementary school. That's how young they are.
Ivan's married, they have a little boy.
Yeah.
You know, he's a father, been a professional for a number of years. Yeah. I mean, I'm going to say his professional career started 99-ish.
Yeah, he was a factor. I remember even in 2000, when Travis Pastrana was the young kid on the scene. So not quite the performance he had last week when he got 4th, but Ivan knows.
Not quite the start.
Yeah, didn't have the start, and he knows it's going to take a while to work back into this. He did not race motocross really at all the last 2 seasons, 2010, 2011. So he's got to learn this thing again and get the fitness back.
Yeah, and there's 2 things that are important for Ivan at this point, is to get good starts and put yourself in a good position to run the speed of the leaders. And the second thing is, no matter what, ride in a way that you don't put yourself on the ground, that you don't injure yourself, and you make every checkered flag, because there's no way that you're going to build a foundation for success and build the stamina and get the experience that it takes to drop back down to this class and get back into it if you're not crossing the checkered flag each and every race.
And this team, Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki, needs him to finish because they've lost a lot of riders to injury. Dean Wilson is out with an injury. Darren Durham out with an injury. Both have bad shoulders. So they need consistency from Tedesco and Baggett.
Speaking of Baggett, he's still running 2nd, but this man right here, 17, Eli Tomac, Geico Honda, built by Factory Connection. Lots of good people over there. Tomac is now 15 seconds out. So last time around, he was actually 2 seconds a lap faster than Baggett. Is Baggett backing off? Is Tomac just holding his speed right now? Looks great. Look at the flow that he has right now.
Great story to see Tomac making this happen in Texas, a track that took a lot from him 2 years ago.
Yeah, it took a lot, and even go 1 week ago, I'd have to say that he was pretty disappointed with the overall outcome of the weekend. And so what a response here out of the Colorado native.
Tomac started his pro career with a win in his very first race at Hangtown in 2010.
First to ever do that.
Yeah, first rider to ever do it. Then came here to Texas the next week, led for the first half of the first moto. Looked like he was gone. And then the heat, the pace, it just caught up to him, and he really was never the same that whole season. Yeah. Report is that Nicoletti ran out of fuel. Wow.
Doesn't seem like it's hot enough to have that situation where the fuel boiled in Ryan Dungey's bike and he ran out of fuel, but hey, you never know.
Well, he was definitely twisting that thing hard, not getting good gas mileage, that's for sure, running up front.
Yeah, gas mileage is not something these riders worry much about.
No. Well, unfortunate for Nicoletti. They weren't concerned with that. So here is Tomac. Again, 2 years ago at this track, it looked like this was the next big thing in the sport. Would he be able to win a title maybe in his rookie pro season? But after the fatigue and the heat here at this race, he's never able quite to recover it that year. Here he is 2 years later. He's obviously figured out the answer to riding well here in Texas and riding all the way through to the finish, because there has been no challenge for Eli Tomac in this first moto.
And how about all of our friends in the armed forces, and especially Greg Oswald, Eli's brother, overseas, serving in the military, undoubtedly. Well, I believe he's in Kazakhstan, something, I'm not sure the pronunciation on it, but they're listening online, watching, and they get to see a moto like this. Pretty cool moment for the Tomac family.
Well, it's Memorial Day weekend, so what a great way to celebrate. The Tomacs are going to have a moto win, and like you said, Brother Greg, looking on there from the Middle East, and this is a big breakthrough. Tomacs had great success indoors in Supercross, won the West Region Championship this year, just a few weeks ago, wrapped that up, but you know that he wasn't satisfied with just that. He wanted to go after it here in motocross. Consistent last week, going for a moto win here. He'll be in the thick of the championship points for sure.
Yeah, and the advantage he has right now, his lead was up to 17 last lap around. As you can see this last lap, he gets a chance to kind of cool out and save some energy. Takes a look over his shoulder, as you always do, to try and find out where second is, see how much you can take it easy. But second moto is going to be the real telltale sign for these guys, and we'll see if Baggett and Tomac happen to get together and battle this thing out.
All right, checkered flag coming out. 2 years after Texas cooked Eli Tomac, he comes back and cooks up a win here at Freestone. Well done, Eli Tomac. And we'll be back to talk to him after this. Back here, the aftermath of Moto 1, 250 class here at Freestone. Blake Baggett in the middle, and his parents there on the left and right. We'll show you the results. Baggett finishes second. Eli Tomac takes the win. Ken Roxon, Justin Barsha, Marvin Muscan ran out the top 5. Jesse Nelson, our one to watch, holds on for a solid 7th place. Ivan Tedesco just outside the top 10. Let's send it down to Kelly on the podium with our winner.
Eli Tomac worked his way to the front early and then gapped the competition. After missing out on the podium at Hangtown, how important was it for you to come out with a win here today?
Man, I can't even tell you how awesome this feels. I haven't won a moto since my very first race, 2010 Hangtown. So to actually be here, it really just feels like I'm back, and to do this on Memorial Weekend, you know, with my brother on deployment, just makes it that much better.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
The all-new Geomax MX34 is the latest result of Dunlop's ongoing development with the help of top motocross pros. The all-new Geomax MX34 is the new industry standard for soft to intermediate terrain. Experience the advantage